everybody, welcome to a brand new show. My name is T and we are talking scary movies. I appreciate you tuning in. Remember, every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I'm going to have a new interview, an opinion piece, or some horror news for you to check out. But throughout the week, I am dropping plenty of reviews for y'all to stay up on and the latest of horror movies, TV shows, games, books, whatever I'm checking out throughout the week. You don't want to miss any of that, so the best way to stay on top of it is to get subscribed to my Linktree. And you can do that by going to linktr.ee/T Scary Movie. If you get subscribed to my Linktree, that's going to give you access to the YouTube page for the video versions of the show, to your favorite podcasting platforms for the audio-only versions of the show, to my Letterboxd page for my written reviews and my movie rankings throughout the year, to my TikTok page for my short horror content, including movie news and movie premieres, to my Twitch page where you can catch my horror gaming, including The Thing for PlayStation 2, and to my Fangoria shop page where you can enjoy my 20% off discount anything in the Fangoria shop, including a yearly subscription to the physical magazine. You don't want to miss out on that. Hit that subscribe button, especially if you're watching on YouTube, as the more followers I get, the more content I can put out for all of you. So, well, it's Tuesday, and you know what that means. Folks, we're here to talk another episode of Mayfair Witches. We are working our way through the first season. We are here to talk episode 3. This show has been getting good, honestly. I'm getting wrapped up in it, and it's a little bit saucy with the drama so far, so I'm hoping that we get a little bit more of the messiness to unpack as the season goes on. And again, this has been such a fundamentally different show from Interview with the Vampire. Both shows are good, but different pools for both of them, different feelings for both of them, and I'm enjoying the difference here on Mayfair Witches compared to the gaudiness of Interview with the Vampire. Still the best show on TV, but Mayfair Witches is not that bad. But let's get cracking here, y'all. Episode 2 left us off with Rowan finally making her way to New Orleans. She had found a way to get in contact with her mother, and the two of them were finally going to get a chance to meet. But unfortunately, as Rowan went to meet her, she finds her mother dead with her throat slashed in an elevator of a nice hotel without any suspects as to who did it. Now this leaves us with a big mystery, because in the first 2 episodes we've kind of established that the person that we need to be keeping our eyes on is Lasher, this entity that's apparently bound to Rowan's mother Deidre, and we don't really know what his intentions are, except for the fact that obviously he took advantage of a young Deidre earlier on in her life, and even though that seduction continues, he's also showing an interest in Rowan as well. So I think it's safe to say that we know that Lasher does have nefarious intentions, but the problem is that pretty much everybody else in the show so far has been presented in very deceitful fashion, so it's not like we can trust a lot of these other characters either. And Rowan's not making it that easy for us to really get on her side, and I get it. Her adopted mother just died. She found out that that mother lied about a lot of Rowan's past that would have kept her a bit more grounded, hence the reason why she's taken off for New Orleans in the first place. So episode 3 here starts off with Rowan kind of dealing with the aftermath of Deidre's death. She ends up encountering Carlotta, who tries to tell her to basically come with her and that they need to discuss the whole circumstances of Rowan's birth and all of the magic and the mysticism around it. Because again, like I said in last week's episode, Carlotta seems to be sticking her nose into everybody's business. She's always around, but I feel that that's just a setup here to make us not trust her, and that Carlotta is actually going to end up being one of the good guys, because it's very clear that she doesn't want Rowan to get into any trouble from the very second that she's met her, and that she knows that she's Deidre's daughter for sure, and knows that Rowan is now in danger. So I don't know. I'm under the impression that Carlotta probably didn't have anything to do with Deidre's death, and we find out as Ciprien becomes a little bit more involved in the situation that's going on. He goes to investigate Deidre's body so he can get a little bit more background on what is happening, and finds out that right before Deidre died, somebody was in that elevator with her. It was a man, or so we think. And I say so we think because some of the events of this episode put into question whether or not we can trust our eyes and a lot of what we're going to see over the course of this first season. But it's nice to see Cyprien Graves get a little bit more involved. Last week he introduced himself to Rowan, and that didn't really go too well for him. He ended up in the back of an ambulance, which he later escaped from. But right now, that's not going too well between the two of them, so we want to see him get a little bit more integrated, because Rowan's really going to need a lot of help as this moves forward with Lasher and with the rest of the Mayfairs, who are very, very much clearly still having some kind of control behind the scenes. We see that Cortland's a bit freaked out about Deidre's death, and who in turn shows up to visit him? Lasher, looking angry and not too pleased with the events of the last couple of days. But Cortland basically calms him by reminding Lasher that Rowan is the 13th Mayfair witch. Now, again, I have not read these books. I don't know what the significance of that is, but my assumption going into this was, like, each generation the Mayfairs get more and more powerful because there's more raw power imbued within them. And so while Lasher was interested in Deidre, getting to see Rowan and seeing a more raw source of power that he wants and that he needs, of course, he's not going to be too upset over the events of the last day or so. And Lasher really has already moved on, because his sights are firmly set on Rowan. And even though Rowan gets a chance for protection, her and Ciprien reunite, and he then just unloads on everything, which I kind of like that, because how often do we watch movies or TV shows of this sort of nature, and the character that knows pretty much everything, that can fill in the blanks for what our protagonist needs to know, only gives them bits and pieces? And Ciprien just throws all the information directly to Rowan, and it's basically sink or swim. Do with it what you will. Now, we don't know if that's a great idea, because that's what Cyprien Graves' bosses were worried about, is that her having this information would just lead her into getting into more trouble. But what's kind of interesting is the fact that Ciprien tells this to Rowan, and then gets, this barrier of magic placed around his spot. And as Rowan ends up leaving a little bit later to explore New Orleans and has an encounter with Lasher, it seems very clear that that information given to her didn't actually put her into more danger, because she had the information that she needed to stay safe, and she still ended up having to leave Cyprien's place where she was protected and end up right in Lasher's crosshairs. And Lord, y'all, Lasher is a savage, man, an absolute savage, putting the moves on Rowan this quickly. And what kills me even more is the fact that Rowan goes for it. Now, I know that there's some subterfuge involved in this, because Lasher takes on another form, he gets Rowan drunk, and as we've seen thus far in the first couple of episodes, it's one of Rowan's vices, that she's an alcoholic. She uses it to deal with all facets of her life, and therefore if she's drinking, gonna be a little bit easier for Lasher to manipulate her, to gaslight her, and to basically get exactly what he wants out of her. And while Rowan does see through a bit of the charade and gets to start seeing this other world that, she felt that she might be a part of, but didn't really want to believe it yet, she's just amazed by everything that's before her eyes. The fact that she's getting to see this fun celebration and party that's going on, and the fact that Lasher points out that, well, these are the dead, and that they get to enjoy in this just as much, and that he's trying to make sure that she just takes it calmly. Because you have to remember, Cyprien Graves told her about all of this before her meeting with Lasher, and she didn't really want to believe what was being told to her, and she reacted pretty angrily about it as well. Because if you're dealing with a death of a loved one, you didn't even know existed in the first place, you're getting all this new information, you've killed a couple of people in the last week or so, you don't want to hear about witches and werewolves and vampires and things like that. Like, that's not really going to put you any more at ease. You want something that makes a lot more sense, and what she was being told wasn't making sense at all. So as much as I hate the sleazy Lasher finding a way to connect to Rowan and introducing her a little bit more to this world, seeing is believing, and it had to happen to open up Rowan's eyes. And Rowan knows that there's something off about Lasher and about this connection with him for sure. And that shows that Lasher is even more nefarious than we can think. because we do get to see Lasher killing Deidre's live-in maid, Delphine, who helped her escape to go and visit Rowan in the last episode anyway. Which brings us back around to the fact that I keep wanting to feel that Carlotta's got some good to her, and some of the conversations she has during this episode shows that she does have good intentions, but then she damns Delphine to be killed by Lasher. And by Lasher doing this, it kind of firmly sets him up as the evil being that is probably going to be the big bad of at least this season. So, some interesting developments here for sure. Rowan and Lasher are now acquainted in more ways than one. Ciprien is firmly in the game and has a little bit more information about Deidre's death, and we know that the Mayfairs are still waiting in the wings to help in whatever way, or to scheme and plot in whatever way they can. A lot of interesting stuff going on here in Mayfair Witches, and we're going to continue to unpack it, folks. Again, this is only episode 3. We have 5 episodes left to hit here. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything at all here, folks. And for a chance to win A is for Alien, in the comment section, tell me right now who you think killed Deidre Mayfair. Drop that in the comment section, folks. And yeah, that's it for tonight. My name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.
Boy here is a big fan of Fangoria. So, if you want to check out the world's best horror magazine that's out there, get a chance to get yourself your own subscription, which I just got my first one back in 2022, and I don't regret it for a second. But if you want your own Fangoria subscription, or you like the Fangoria merchandise, then head over to the Fangoria shop and use my link if you want to save yourself some money, folks. That's an easy one to remember. Just go to shop.fangoria.com/AXDEW. Again, that's shop.fangoria.com/AXDEW, or use my specific code AXDEW at checkout. You can save 20% off your entire order, and that implies 2 subscription and one-time orders as well. You don't want to miss out, folks, because with the magnitude of horror movies we've had released in the last few years, and with what we have on the horizon, Fangoria is going to be your #1 source for all that great, juicy, bloody information in the world of horror. So again, head to shop.fangoria.com. Hey there, folks! Thanks for tuning in to T Watch This Scary Movie. I appreciate you checking out another review or movie news, whether we're talking movies, TV shows, books, or games, whatever, it's all scary. Remember, you can check out new episodes every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on the YouTube page for video. That's youtube.com/C/Theron Reynolds Scary Movie. Again, youtube.com/C/Theron Reynolds Scary Movie. And you can check out the audio version on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Just search T Watch the Scary Movie or TWASM. Don't forget, my name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.